Good evening, Isaac. How are you, sir?
Good evening, Ryan. I am good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. It's weird. It's been light until just about like 10 minutes ago. So
That's
it's really
crazy.
weird. It's like, oh, time already? So,
It
yeah.
is nice.
But I'm excited to be on the show with you, man.
Yep. I'm happy to be here with you as always. Hey,
Excellent.
do we have a guest today?
Yes, we have a guest. So, Dennis Northcott, how are you, sir?
Hello. I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, Dennis, tell us who you're with and why you're on the show.
Well, I'm one of the designers of Galactic Cruise and one of the owners of the publisher Kinson Games. And I'm on the show because you sent me an email and said, hey, I'm on the show.
There we go.
That's fair.
Yeah, Galactic Cruise, the very tiny indie game that nobody knows anything about. We're going to hopefully inform some people about it today. No, we are huge fans of Galactic Cruise and cannot wait for this game to hit the market. And because of that, we're talking about space games today.
Oh, I'm really excited.
Yeah, Isaac had a hankering for space games, so we're super excited to talk about our favorite space games, games that kind of help us travel outside of our world and experience something new. So,
absolutely.
Yep. So the way that we always do it, we always have our guest answer the questions first. And Isaac, you've got our first question that has nothing to do with the topic.
I mean, it does.
It does.
It does. Yeah, it's just
most of the time it's like, do you prefer hot dogs or hamburgers? So.
Yeah, and today it's, do you prefer hamburgers or hot dogs? No, today's opening question is what science fiction world would you love to be a part of? And what would be your role, your identity? Like, who would you be in that world?
All right. Well, the first question, hamburgers over hot dogs for sure.
Okay, there we go. You can stay on the show now.
Yep, hamburgers as always.
So yeah, I think the sci-fi world I would pick would be Star Trek and specifically, I have not seen any of like the later Star Treks. I'm talking about Next Generation. I don't know if it's a little different these days than back when I was watching all the time. But I would pick Star Trek because it's much more of like a, utopia future, but there's just lots of exploration, diplomacy, and there's still lots of like excitement, but it's much more of a bright future. So if I was to live in one of those universes, I feel like I would pick that. And maybe my role would be fixing the transporter, and I would be in the background playing a board game in the mess hall.
There we go.
I love it.
You're just always in the background at all times.
Yeah.
Every shot. It's like you gotta. I don't know. Do you watch The Great North by any chance? The cartoon series.
No.
So it's funny. The Great North has this little. There's a Yeti in every one of the episodes, and most people didn't know that there was a Yeti in the episodes until they pointed it out like 3 seasons in. They were like, "Oh wow. Yeah, there's always a Yeti." So it's pretty funny. Now I look for him. I think I would probably go with Star Wars just because that's what I grew up with, and I still love Star Wars. I would definitely be some kind of shady alien. I would be that alien that's hanging out in the back room of like some pub somewhere and dealing some weird stuff. I think a shady alien would be a lot of fun to be.
I like it. Fits you well, sir.
Yeah, I look like a shady. What's that guy doing over there? He's just being a shady alien. That's all.
I mean, I love all things space, so it's really hard. Like, it's funny, and we'll talk about this in a little bit. I love all things space, but I don't love getting into new space shows. Like things like The Expanse. I'm like, I don't want another whole, like, I got to learn all this. So I like the ones I like. Like you said, Star Trek, Star Wars.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite, I'm a big Marvel guy. I got my giant Marvel picture right here. I love the Marvel cosmic universe. I love that Guardians brought characters to the front that you would have never have seen. And one of my favorite characters, I would live in the Marvel cosmic world, and I'm just going to take a character and be him. It's going to be Cosmic Ghost Rider. And I don't know if you know who Cosmic Ghost Rider is, but he's like the Punisher who becomes the Ghost Rider and goes kind of nuts and becomes the Herald for Galactus and kills Galactus. Like, he's crazy. And he rides around on a motorcycle in space. It's
The space motorcycles,
Yeah,
man, you got to
yeah,
get those.
with flames that somehow continue to burn with the lack of
Yeah,
oxygen.
yeah, makes sense. In space, of
In
course.
space, yeah. But Cosmic Marvel would be my choice.
Well, hopefully some of our choices help inform maybe an expansion for Galactic Cruise.
Oh,
You know, flaming motorcycle rides in space, stuff
man,
like that.
I'd be all
you know?
over that.
Yeah. So our second, this is more of a space centered question.
Yep.
Why is sci-fi and space such a popular theme for creative playgrounds like board games and movies and video games? Why is that?
I think that could be a tougher answer. But I think it's because it opens up so many possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have technology that can be essentially magic. You can, space is endless, so you can discover anything, or find an alien race that could be good, could be bad.
Yeah.
So I think there's just so much potential. There's so many options of what you can find. And then also, if you want to go down the other side of aliens that are trying to kill you and stuff like that. So like there's so many paths that you can take, and it's kind of open to so many different things. I think that's why it'd be so popular, just because it can kind of, even within a space genre, it could be many different things that you could have. Like you could have a complete show that's just set in space, but it's not even really about space. That's just where it takes place or something.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I think it's all those unknowns that space gives us. That kind of is like what the question says. It's a playground, it's a place where people can kind of make up whatever they want and kind of play that out. And, I think about something like Star Trek, Star Wars, the Orville, Dune. There's so many things about all of those. There's some overlapping items, and then there's all these things that are just unique to that series, and so there's so much creativity to be had because there's so many unknowns when we talk about space and different galaxies and planets. So
yeah, I feel the same way with the unknowns. That's probably the part that stuck the most for me, is this idea of to boldly go where no man has gone before, right? And these ideas that we get to explore things that are unknown but also futuristic. And I think people love to lean into future, right? Like what could be. We just got back from a trip from Disney World, and you do the ride through the ball at Epcot, and it's like, oh, here's where we've been, but where could we be, right? I think people love that idea when it comes to space, and I'm sure you talk about it with Galactic Cruise. You have that what if moments with these rooms and different things that I love the reveals to watch. So
yes. So I think also space makes it less mundane. It's so funny. I forget which room reveal it was. It was something like a zero gravity room or something like that you guys revealed. Yeah, and I was like, oh man, that would be so cool. So yeah. So let's talk about your favorite space movie, and of course, Isaac said, why is it Starship Troopers?
Well, it's not Starship Troopers.
That's been great.
But I do know the difference between a civilian and a citizen.
Yes, that's important.
And it's like I like the movie. It's just not my favorite one.
It's a good movie.
It's fair.
I think it might be hard for me to narrow this down to one. Also because I think space could contain a number of different things.
For sure.
So I was thinking about it. And maybe I'm even forgetting some, but I did try to figure this out. So one of my all-time favorite movies is Gattaca. And so that movie is not directly about space, but it's about someone that wants to be an astronaut. And so there's these launches going on all the time.
That's Ethan Hawke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's kind of more about genetics and
like
in the future where they can just genetically choose how they want their babies to be born. And he was born a natural, and he's not allowed to work for the company and be an astronaut if he was a naturally born baby, because it's they don't allow that. So he has to fake his way in, and it's a super interesting movie that's only sort of about space. So if that one counts, I'd pick that. But
sounds like
other ones that I would mention is Dune, the new one, not so much the 80s one.
It's fair.
I haven't seen the second one yet. I think that's out now, right? Is it in theaters now?
Yep. It is. Yep.
I got to check out part 2, but absolutely loved part 1. Aliens, I mean that's all of them, but I think I'd pick Aliens among the Alien
Oh
series.
yeah.
Sunshine, Moon, Gravity, and then kind of more like historical ones, like First Man and Apollo 13,
Okay.
about
Yeah,
like
yeah.
actually going to space, like those ones.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Apollo
Titan AE.
13. That was a really good one when I think I was a teenager at the time. That was really good.
Yeah, I watched it again somewhat recently, and like it's still fantastic.
It still holds up. Okay.
I
That's
really
cool.
like it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. I had a hard time with this one because I want to lean a little on the silly side, and then I also like Aliens is one of my favorite horror space movies. So I got to go with Aliens for this one, but also Galaxy Quest. That's a movie that I recently rewatched and I loved it. Like it's a space movie and it's a fanboy movie and it's about nerd culture, and I don't know, Galaxy Quest really holds up and is still a ridiculous, and you forget all the people that were part of that movie at the time when it was made. Not everybody was famous at the time, or like you didn't recognize them from the stuff that they did afterwards. So yeah.
I'll have to watch that again.
Ever watch Galaxy?
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
great
Tim
movie.
Allen plays the great, version of the Captain Kirk, and
Yep.
yeah, no, it's a fun.
I had forgotten Rainn Wilson was in it.
Yep.
You know, he was one of the
Sigourney
whatever
Weaver,
the
right?
cyborg things are. Yeah, I looked. I was like, oh man, I completely forgot. So
I think I only saw that when it was like a new release, so it's been a long time.
It came on a movie channel a couple months ago, and I was like, I haven't watched this in a long. It was last summer because the kids were sitting around. I was like, you guys watch this with me, and they were like, okay, sure, and it was really fun.
It's awesome. Natural Astronaut Baby. Is that?
I don't know. Is that a movie? Natural Astronaut Baby. Wow.
I don't know that one.
Maybe
it could be. I'm also I've been playing around with our TikTok live stream.
Yeah.
So we've got this live on TikTok. We got like 80 people watching it.
Nice.
But we got one comment was, "Hey, nice Invincible hat."
There we go. Invincible coming back. Second part of season 2 coming out this Friday, I think the 14th.
I think so. Yeah, it's coming real soon.
And then Invincible board game. Reviewing that on our channel this week.
Can we do a superhero chat? We haven't done a superhero chat yet.
Superhero chat would be good.
Do Invincible.
Let's do that. Yeah.
We should talk to Matt. But we are talking about favorite space movie. Obviously, Starship Troopers. I said I begrudgingly got into Helldivers finally.
Okay.
And I'm enjoying it. It's tough. It's tough.
My son loves that game so much.
Oh man! And I'm playing it on my son's Steam Deck. And because he kind of said he wanted to get it, I'm like, let me just buy it and I'll play on your account. I'll join everybody that's playing it, and it's fun, but it's tough, and it very much reminds me of Starship Troopers. It's very much 100%. Fight for democracy, kill the bugs, like it's all in there. So I've always enjoyed that one a lot.
It's funny, Josiah's playing Helldivers 2, and we played Helldivers 1 a while back, but I don't think Josiah's ever seen Starship Troopers. So
I've got to show it to him. Cultural movie from the 90s. Yeah. Just but the other two that kind of circled around for me. It's funny, I didn't think about like real space movies when you said that. Like I wasn't even considering like Armageddon, right? Like, which is a space movie, right? But I was really thinking into more science fiction space. And so like I said, Guardians of the Galaxy to me is, being a Marvel fan, I was always familiar with Rocket and who Star-Lord was, because he dated Kitty Pryde, but like for them to become such a huge part of the culture has been awesome. And the original one is the jam, right, from that. But also The Martian is just an amazing, beautifully done sci-fi movie, and I love Matt Damon. I love that storyline, and
nice.
It's is part of my answer to my next to our next topic, actually. I think.
What's the next one?
Our next topic specifically is what is your all-time favorite space-themed board game? So we're gonna get in top 5. We're gonna talk about space, or we're gonna do pick 5. We're gonna talk about some space themes game, but this is your favorite of all, any type of space theme. What is it?
It is.
You gotta reach for it.
Space Empires 4X would be my
Ooh,
all-time.
Oh.
game. Is that a
It's a
GTM?
GMT.
GMT game? Yeah.
A GMT game, yeah.
Ooh, those are tough
Interesting.
games.
Interesting.
I've played a couple of GMTs. Those are tough games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that one like stand out as your top?
So it's my favorite space game, but also my favorite like 4X type game.
Okay.
Because of all of the hidden elements.
Mm.
So it feels the most like playing StarCraft or something like that. Because there's like so much that's happening that like you don't know what your opponents are doing.
Mm-hmm.
So like we used to play a ton of Twilight Imperium. We used to play like every month back when 3rd edition was the newest one. And that was like, I didn't think anything would ever like dethrone that game as like my favorite big space opera 4X kind of battle, big game like that. But I like Space Empires 4X more because it's like, it just uses, as you might expect from a GMT game, it just uses like little cardboard counters. And so it doesn't have plastic ships. So like you'd think that that's not as cool.
Yeah.
But one thing it
of
allows you to
cardboard.
do is you're just moving around these little squares on the map, but you don't know what it is. So like I just have things, you just know that there's like a blip on your radar essentially.
Yeah.
And that could be an entire like stack of all of my best ships, or it could just be a decoy ship.
Interesting. Yeah.
And you also don't know what alien race I am until I do something that breaks a rule. So I might have an alien race that I can keep hidden until I reveal it just at the right moment and do something that you didn't expect. Or you might go and attack me and you don't know what technologies I have until you actually initiate a battle with me. And then it's like, okay, I have this. So there's a lot more bookkeeping involved. So it's like, it's not a game for everyone.
Yeah.
There's like it comes with a sheet that you have to like write things down on. All of your ships have maintenance on it. So like every ship I have to pay money to upkeep them. Each ship has like a different technology level depending when you built it. So if I research a technology, all my previous ships I built have the old technology. I have to bring them back and like retrofit them to get the new technologies on there.
Interesting.
Okay.
So there's a lot more like upkeep, but it allows you to do way cooler things with like faking a movement here. Like you don't know what I'm attacking you with. You can build a bunch of mines in an area and then just have a fleet go in and blow it up. And so then instead to counter that, somebody can build like minesweepers and bring them in first. You could move a scout in first to see what's there before you just fly in blindly. So there's just lots of like hidden things is why I kind of like it more than a lot of those other ones.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard of that one before.
Yeah.
We got a couple comments. Derek Funkhauser, I love space, prefer about 5,000 miles of space between me and Isaac.
Yeah.
The trolls are out tonight. And then Chad with, I love Armageddon, guilty pleasure movie I'll watch anytime.
Yeah.
But he mentions here, so Last Starfighter, love that one. He mentions a weird space movie, Event Horizon, is actually in my top 3 horror movies of all time.
Oh, really?
So Event Horizon, I saw it about 5 times the year it was released. It was it was one of the few movies that I went back to the theater 3 times to watch. I usually never do that because I'm like, you took enough of my money.
Fair.
So, but yeah. So I think I answered this one. What is my favorite space game? I think I would go Space Base just because it feels like comfort food gaming to me. You're just rolling dice, you're getting things, you're trying to make combos, you're experimenting with drafting different ships. I feel like every time you play, it's a little different because those same ships are never out there every time. You can't go for the same strategy and win every time. And when I've introduced it to people, I feel like it's an easy buy for most people. I introduced it to some family members one time and then immediately bought it like the next weekend. That's awesome. Space Base is a really fun one that feels like comfort gaming to me. So
I love it. My favorite is the heaviest game in my collection. It is a game I have played, I just looked 19 times, which feels like a lot for this game. And that is Lacerda's masterpiece. For me, this is his best game, and this is my favorite space game, is On Mars. I adore this game. I learned this a little before the pandemic set in, and there was a group of 3 of us that still played games together in the midst of all this. And this is what we played a lot of. And my buddy Mike, who I love dearly, has played this probably 17 of the 19 times with me. Has not won a game yet.
Oh, there you
Has
go.
not won. He came so close on his birthday, and I beat him by a single point. And
You
I knew
couldn't
I
just
was.
give up that one
Oh
point.
no,
Just
no,
for-
no,
oh,
no, no, not even for a
Jesus.
tie.
Okay.
But I love the intricacy of this game. I feel like I'm in the. There's a lot of heavy games you play, and you're like, well, if we played this a handful of times, I'd understand the push and pull. And this one, I get it. Like I understand when you need to move in certain directions. But the thing is, I'll only play it with people who also understand that, because otherwise, you're gonna get
Otherwise, it's not fun.
yeah. So
It's
it's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game on the table. It's so much fun. One of my favorites.
That's awesome.
Probably in my top 3 of all time, honestly.
Very cool. Chad
Oh.
coming in. Ryan prefers Space Ace of Base.
I saw the
You
sign.
saw the sign. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. So, and then Bob in here. Oh snap! It's Dennis.
Bob,
That's right.
Bob was the one that.
Hey, Bob.
Bob always tells me about games way before I ever see them.
Mhm.
And he's the first one to tell me, oh, wait till you see the Sand Art game. I'm horrible at it, but it's going to be amazing. And then about a year later, I start to see it, right? Bubble the top. He's the one that told me, wait till you try Galactic. And he's trying to describe Galactic Cruise to me. When he first, he's like, you're going to love it. It's crazy. It's over the top. And he's going through all of it. And I'm listening and going like, sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. And he was the one that got us.
When can I get it? 2 years
Yeah, it's okay. That's okay. We'll talk about that in a minute. But before we jump into that, last question is what mechanic would you like to see done more in a space theme in board games? What do you feel like's missing?
I want to address the elephant in the room of the $500,000 campaign and Dennis actually still agreeing to come on this pathetic little show that we do. Thank you, Dennis. So
appreciate it nonetheless.
Thanks. I assume my check's in the mail.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Chad's sending it. It'll be from 25th Century.
Yeah, okay. 25th Century sends out all the royalty checks. So.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so this was a tough one because I feel like the space games, there are tons of different mechanics and things that I've already used. But what I picked was, and this is a little bit of spoiler for my pick 5 space games thing. So I love the logistics puzzle of leaving Earth and High Frontier. So they're trying to be more of a simulation. And so it's kind of like figuring out how much fuel do I need, or how big of a rocket do I need if I'm carrying this much payload to get to this part. But then it's like, then you got to figure out how much you need if you're trying to get onto the moon or something. How much do you need to get back? And it's like the whole, there's a lot more like math involved in some of those games. But I really enjoy that logistics puzzle, and like not many games do that sort of thing, space or otherwise. So I feel like it'd be cool if you could implement that in a game that's not only about that, because those games are just pretty much just about doing that logistics puzzle. So if that was just part of it, maybe it would be too heavy, too long, too complicated. But I just think it'd be cool if there was more involved with just like, instead of moving from point A to point B, like I actually had to like think about it more, or plan my turns around about it more. So maybe something like that would be something I'd like to see more of.
Yeah.
Love it.
I've got a game later in the show that we're going to talk about that uses deduction. And I think that the unknowns of space really connect with deduction quite a bit. And the unknowns of like trying to feel your way out in space, it makes sense. And so I think more games that have some kind of logical deduction or some sort of reasoning that you can use to navigate or find life or something like that. I'd like to see that. And so you'll hear about a game that is in my pick 5 later that has that.
I would like to see more roll and write, and I was trying to think of a good roll and write with space theme other than Welcome to. I think there's a Welcome to the Moon, right, in the Welcome to series, and I really couldn't. Like I was going through my collection, I couldn't find another roll and write that was space specific. I found some online when I looked it up, but ones I wasn't familiar with, or there's a lot of like print and play. But that was one just strictly from a mechanical standpoint that I said like, oh, I love roll and writes, but can't really think of a good space theme.
Yeah. Well, let me throw out one real quick for you.
You're gonna design it real quick. This is
I'm gonna design it real quick.
You're doing
no, actually, speaking of this, you keep talking for a second.
I was he does a podcast. I don't know if you're familiar with this, where him and
okay, stop talking. Sorry. That was a waste. That was not what I
it's
wanted.
called Will It Game, and they present a designer, somebody with a game idea, and they say, hey, is this a fun idea for a game that they make up off the top of their heads? I'm on the show in not perpetuity, what's the word I'm looking for, in limbo. I recorded it 17 years ago, and
that's about right.
Who knows what happened to it?
So okay,
Demeter. Terraforming Mars. I don't know that I've played a Terraforming Mars roll and write game.
Is there one?
That's what Bob said on there. TDG.
The dice game. I don't think there's any.
The dice game.
Yeah, I don't know that you write anything in that one.
Yeah.
So there's the Twilight Inscription, which is the Twilight Imperium.
Oh yeah, we did play that one.
That's a roll and write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot of writing.
I have not heard very much about that.
We played it at PAX last year. It was good. There was a lot involved with it. It's definitely not a light roll and write.
So let me throw out this. Speaking of roll and writes, Lane Huber over at Meeple's Crossing, who does some awesome T-shirt designs. He actually came out with a game this week called Last Outpost. This is a roll and write, a pay what you want roll and write that he's doing, that he's actually doing through Coffee. So the KOFI. So basically just pay what you want, download the sheets, and it's a roll and write about like basically, having this outpost on a planet. So, or it might be the moon. So, but it's very cool looking, and I have to buy it because it's awesome and I like supporting Lane.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah. So if you want that,
that might be the answer I'm looking for.
Yeah, that might be the way to go. So if you want to check that out, I will throw a link in here. Why am I gigantic on the screen?
I don't know, but always about you.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
About you. Here we go. All right. While you're typing that up, our next question, Dennis, we're going to talk about all things Galactic Cruise. We've talked about it a little bit so far. We've got a campaign going. Can you just kind of talk about the team, who's on it, how Galactic Cruise kind of came to fruition, and where we're at today with it?
Yeah, so the team is TK King, Colton Thompson, and me, Dennis Northcott. The game started out as TK's idea, and back then, so the game existed before I met TK and Colton. So I kind of came on a little bit later. So TK had this idea for a game called Galactic Cruise, where you're running your own cruise line going into outer space. And that idea, like the actual theme of the game, stuck from the very beginning. Even he had it named from the very beginning as well.
That's awesome.
The actual gameplay has changed drastically. So I've seen some of the older versions that were around before I was there, and yeah, it changed quite a bit. But I actually met TK at Proto ATL a few years ago, and he had an earlier version of Galactic Cruise with him, and I was just there. So I'm actually, they're both from Tennessee, and I'm from Winnipeg in Canada. So I came down had my own games. I was looking to pitch games to publishers, and I just happened to play their game. Colton wasn't there because his wife had just had a baby, but he was supposed to be there. But I met TK, and we became instant friends. I hung out with them like the whole time at Proto ATL. And TK played all of my games that I brought, and I played Galactic Cruise more than once at the convention. And then over time, so he invited me to their Discord server, where a lot of other up-and-coming designers were. So I was playtesting other games with other designers, playtesting mine, and then I would continue to play Galactic Cruise. And just over the years, like one thing I really enjoyed was after a playtest, everyone else would leave, and then I would stay with TK and Colton and just like talk with them for hours about game design, but like about solving problems in Galactic Cruise. And so TK likes to joke that as soon as I saw Galactic Cruise, I knew I had to devote my life to it. But yeah, that wasn't quite true. But I did enjoy working together as a team, because anything that I designed previously was just a solo thing that I was just doing myself. And so it was fun to kind of work through those problems. And I was just doing it as a friend. I didn't expect, like, I wasn't going in thinking that I would be part of the company at some point.
Right.
But over time, we just kind of, I was involved more and more, and like they were using lots and lots of my ideas or things that that we worked out together. So over time, it was kind of like, all right, like at some point we're going to make this official. And so the Kinson Key name existed before me. They had designed a game together. Like their lifetime, they grew up as friends. So they're like lifetime buddies and always worked on stuff together. And so they had already had this name and released a really small card game before I was around. But so I just joined on, and we made the company official. So like they were using the name, but it wasn't like a legal entity yet. So the three of us created the legal entity, and we're like, okay, let's go all in on this Galactic Cruise thing and actually, put money into it and everything to get it to where it is today, because it needed to get the art and all this work put in. And so over time, so I kind of started out as just like a play tester, and then became a developer, and then became a designer, and then now I'm owner and designer. So I started the company with them. So the idea of it started before me, but now it's the three of us going forward. So
I love it. I love that.
Awesome.
I
remember seeing the earliest prototype 2 years ago at Southern Fried. And so it was like just the fact that you could make this feel like a cruise line, that you could make it feel, I think at the time it didn't have some of the amenities and stuff that it didn't. So like that had been added in after, and now it like legitimately feels like you're going on a cruise, you're planning your excursions, you're doing all these things, and it's so much fun. Like it's kind of almost like a dream space that you can use to kind of, oh man, I'm not only playing a Euro, but also I would love to go on this sky cruise,
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's talk about the campaign. Campaign was something that was very grassroots. Kind of what was the thought behind, how you guys moved in the direction that you did to get to where we're at today?
Yeah. So it definitely started out pretty small, and it was a lot of, attending conventions. I mean, that's the whole reason that I met up with them, is because I went to ProtoATL and TK was there. And then also that
Tired of
community, that community that I mentioned on Discord. Like, it was a lot of just designers that knew about the game at first, because it was, you're swapping playtests. So it's like, I've got this game that I'm working on, you play mine, and then I'll play yours after. And so that kind of spread out that way, that a lot of people had played Galactic Cruise just as designers. And then it just kind of built up a little following from there. And certainly being at all that, like, I think it's important to be in person at as many conventions as possible, so people can see that it's like a real thing. And it's like, that's how you guys first played it and saw it and found out about it probably. I know it's Bob in the chat earlier mentioned like that's where he saw it.
Yep.
And I met Bob. I think he had played it somewhere else first, maybe at like Tantrum Con or something, where I wasn't there. And then the next time at ProtoATL, then that's where I met Bob, because I come down for ProtoATL, but not usually Tantrum Con. At least so far. Maybe now, like, I'll be able to do even more than I've done before.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important, that we had like a number of people that had played it and knew how good it was and could vouch for it and stuff, so that when, like, the big thing for us, like, I can kind of like have the grassroots and that kind of marketing is sort of like divided into pre-Ian O'Toole or release of the box art, and then after. So I think that pre-part was very important, so there was enough people that knew the game was real, had played it, and said, this game's great, that sort of thing. And then after, Ian O'Toole is the one that actually posted the art, the box art, on BGG, and we expected to see some excitement, but like, we did not expect it. It went to number one on the hotness for like a week straight. And I think it was a huge part of that is, of course, we have Tool. So not only is the art amazing, but it's like a name that people know, because we knew like there was multiple reasons we wanted to get Tool. One of them being the name recognition, also because he just does such an amazing job. So we're huge fans of his, and so we wanted to get him in there. But he posted it, so that went kind of viral, whatever you want to call it. It went wide. But then I think the fact that you could go to the page and see all these reviews from people that have already played it and seen it and know that it's a real game, not just the art. And at that point we didn't even have any art besides the box art. So it was literally just like, here's the box art, here's some pictures of the prototypes that we've taken, but it looks nothing like that now. Obviously, but yeah, you guys saw the prototype before any of the stuff. So it was still. It was still not bad for a prototype, but like it's nothing like it is today.
Yeah, it's amazing, because I think that shows you that really good art direction can draw in new people very simply. And I'm not saying simply as in that's all it takes, but if you have really good art direction, if you have something that really draws in people, they're willing to hear. Some of the people who have sat down and listened to your pitch are definitely not Eurogame players, but they're enthralled by what they see, and so you guys have the ability with the artwork and with the imagination of this game. You can say, come on in, look at this, and really people are attracted to that, so
when it feels like a passion project, which we see, right? Like, I think for a lot of us that do review games and get literally hundreds and hundreds of games coming across our eyes all the time, right? And we see some companies that are dropping 30, 40, 50 games a year, and we're like, well, here comes another box of them. This one felt different. It felt like a really good indie flick that you knew about but nobody else knew about yet, and you wanted to tell your friends about it. And then once the ball got rolling, you realized everybody loves Clerks and everybody's talking about Clerks. It's not just your movie anymore, and that's okay, right? But Bob again is like one of the ones that like he loves to champion games. And I love to talk about things that we get excited about. And we were pulling people over at Origins, like, you got to come over to this booth, come check it out. And then by the time you get to Gen Con, by the time you got to PAX, you didn't need people pulling over. People were coming to you, right? And so you get that rhythm of like enough people and the ball gets rolling, and then it's just like, and I think people are excited to see new blood in a field where we see a lot of the same stuff, right?
Cody asked a question in the comments, and I thought this was a good question. How risky is developing a new board game? He was also saying, without name recognition, how risky is that? The three of you kind of went in together, so it wasn't just on one person's back, but the three of you pooled what you had, the resources and finances and knowledge, into making this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is a very important key that people, I think, if you're looking to design your own game, and especially designing game is one thing. Like I was originally just going to pitch games to publishers. I was not interested in being a publisher. And I would say that still holds true without TK and Colton. Like, I wouldn't want to do this myself. There was no way. I knew what it took. Like, I know what it takes to be able to be successful. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to do all those things alone. Like, I'm not even going to try it. I'm just going to pitch games. So that's how I started. But when I met with them, and it was like, oh, we fit well together. Like, my strengths are maybe their weaknesses, and vice versa. Because like one thing that there's a reason that most people may not recognize my name or see me around as much, because TK and Colton are active on Facebook constantly, and that's just not my thing. So like, if you're like, who is this guy? Like, it's okay, because like, I'm not on Facebook like they are. Like, everyone knows who TK is. At every convention, all these people will come up to him, and I'm like, who are all these people? And it's just like TK is just out there all the time. So it's very important. Like, I think that's one of the biggest keys to our success is that there are three of us, so that we could do that. But I guess the question of how risky is it? I would say if you don't want to get into the publishing side of things, that you should just pitch to a publisher. And there's not much risk in doing that at all. like if as long as you're enjoying doing what you're doing, because you got to spend your time, you know, outside of your normal job or whatever, working on a game, but you don't have to like don't put money into the art or anything because the publisher is going to do that. And you don't have to, you know, put a lot of money into maybe like traveling to the conventions would be the biggest thing that you're putting in. That'd be risky on that side. If you want to start your own publishing company and launch your own game, then there's definitely more risk involved in that. So this took a long time because like from inception till now was like 3 years. Like I've even been on for I think around 2 years now, been involved in some capacity. So like it takes a long time to do this, and certainly to launch at the scope that we launched at, it took a lot of money as well. So there certainly is risk in doing that. But I would say like if you're not sure about doing the publisher side, but you are an indie designer that wants to get out there, is just pitch your game, get out there, talk to publishers, get it signed, make a name for yourself. And then if later on you want to launch your own company, like it might be a little easier to do at that point. Because it definitely was a ton of work. And then there was risk involved as well. Like, we had to put a bunch of money down to get to where we are now.
Yeah. And I think that shows in the success of the Kickstarter right now. Chris Goodlet in the comments. Chris, how are you? But it shows with the success of the Kickstarter that you guys have put in the time, you guys have put in the work, and you launched when it was ready instead of launching when you needed some money. You launched when you knew that you had the game that you wanted to give to the people. And I think that makes a difference. We see sometimes when a game is half-baked and it becomes a little disappointing because you want something to be good, you want it to be great, and then you start to find out that it wasn't fully formed. Whereas Galactic Cruise, you guys have been chipping away at it for a long time. You guys put the time in the conventions, you put in the playtest time, you guys took the criticism. I think, and it shows because this thing's going to be very successful, and it's going to be a game that is going to be out there for many years.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, congratulations on where the Kickstarter is. You're
absolutely
22 days left, over $500,000. Your projects we love on Kickstarter. You're number 5 on the hotness today on BGG. I mean, I constantly see all the different, you're not on them, but all the different Facebook groups. You see comments. You see occasionally, and I saw this I think yesterday on one of them. Somebody posted up a picture of the Kickstarter page and put, "Is this game good? Why is everybody backing it?" Because truly. I have a lot of people I play games with, Ryan, you're the same way, that people come to your house that have no idea that this is a game that's on Kickstarter. And so like they see, why is this game at $500,000? Where did this come from? Yeah. Right. So you got the right people talking about it, boiled up, and now you're catching the edge people. Right. And that's the crazy thing of where the Steam could continue to roll towards, right? Is like the people that aren't on Facebook, that don't keep up with the hotness and don't get on BGG, right? Like you're moving well in that direction.
Yeah. Bob's got a good plan. I think he feels like he can maybe be the ship coordinator. Are there any plans to schedule a Galactic Cruise to have people play Galactic Cruise? A Kinson Key Galactic Cruise vacation.
So I'm in. Maybe in the future, but I will say that I did actually have Galactic Cruise on the Dice Tower Cruise in January of this year.
It's perfect.
So there was a Play Galactic Cruise on a cruise, and we'll probably go do that again next year as well. But yeah, not quite a Galactic Cruise yet. But if once there's like a Galactic Cruise going, then yeah, for sure.
You have to be the first one. Yeah,
perfect. Love it.
Well, if you want Galactic Cruise on another cruise ship, send it to me before May. And we'll get it on our family cruise. So it'll come with us. So let's talk about our Pick 5 Game Chat Presents. This is what we do every time that we go live.
Where's the graphic?
One day. It's coming right with that podcast. The Game Chat Presents Pick 5. These are Pick 5 space games that you want people to know about. These are not the top 5, but these are 5 great games that you can get on the table today.
Perfect.
So, Dennis, you're going first.
Do I do all 5 of mine right now?
No, just do
One.
one.
Just
and
one?
We'll just go around
just
go
what it
around
is
the,
and just a
window.
quick what you like about it.
Yep.
Okay. Well, one of my 5 was Space Empires.
That's great.
Okay.
So maybe I needed to pick a different one.
No, that's
No,
fine.
that's fine.
Yeah, you tell us what you like about it. That's perfect.
Yeah. So so that was one of mine. And I just, as I mentioned, like a lot of the hidden stuff, but I just absolutely love I think that my favorite thing is the alien races, because like that's something that I enjoyed about Twilight Imperium and all that too.
Yeah.
Except in this game, because they're all hidden, you can do all sorts of crazy, sneaky things. And some of the most memorable moments in the game for me are times that I've lost because somebody did something sneaky.
Nice.
So there's your ship movement. There's like 3 rounds of movement and then 1 round of like building things and getting your income and all that. And your ship movement is based on its speed technology, but there's one alien that just starts with everything maxed already. So they can just go three spaces every single round. I think it was, I can't remember. Can't remember now, but so they can like move pretty far along the map in 1 turn, and they just start with that. And it normally takes you like the entire game to research up to a technology level of that high. Nice. And but you don't have to reveal that you have that race until you actually show that you're moving faster than you're supposed to. Okay. So a friend of mine sitting next to me is just moving all the ships one at a time until the right moment where he zooms into my base. And like on the first round, he moves 3. And I know what's going to happen, and there's nothing I can do about it because there's 3 rounds before I get to build, and I'm trying to move stuff back, and he just and then he ends up winning the game. And so
it's really good.
Just things like that. Like I just love all the possibilities in that.
Yeah,
game.
Absolutely. TK joining us. You just missed the Galactic Cruise talk. Now you're here for the top our pick 5 space games. So Bob is judging our space game picks. This one is Junk Orbit. This is a pick up and deliver game that is in a very terrible box. It is the circular box. Thankfully, it has been recently reissued by Renegade in a flat square box, the way that it should have been. But it is a underrated pick up and deliver game that uses these hexagons, and you're basically chucking space garbage onto the planets that needs to be delivered on. Very underrated game. It's a lot of fun. Daniel Solis did this one. It's really fun. It's a good one.
I'm going to go with a Explore 8 game that was recently brought over by Eagle Griffin, and that is Federation, which is
I got a copy because of you.
The box cover is literally the Galactic Senate. I think you can even see Chewbacca's up here, Wookiees up here somewhere. But Federation is a push-pull negotiation Euro game. It's a medium to heavy game. It's a lot of fun. It is this one's all in French, but it's a game that really kind of there was some voting in the different Senate areas to kind of raise or lower your point values into the areas that you played into. And it has basically 2 sides of the board that you can roll into. I love it. It's fun. It's heavy. Not enough people know about it, and I was really happy to see Eagle Griffin bring that guy over for all of us to check out.
Because of you, I have a copy of it sitting on the shelf I need to play.
Have you played it? Oh, you have not.
I punched it all out 2 weeks ago. So
it's a good start.
Excited about that.
Good start. All right, number 2.
I'll have to check that one out. I didn't know about that one.
That's a good one.
So my number 2, it's on the screen here. This is Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress.
Okay.
So this is a Warhammer 40K game made by Games Workshop.
Nice.
It's a dungeon crawl. So there was the Warhammer Quest games before that were like fantasy ones. This is my favorite version of like a dungeon crawl. I think. I just love how it works. There's like a bit of like permanent death stuff. There's a push your luck element where you can like keep going further and further before going back to base and like getting all your healing all your wounds and that sort of thing. I just love it. Just a co-op dungeon crawler. It's not a 1 versus many. It's like a 1 versus the game. So I really like all the systems in that one. So I'm a big fan of that game.
Nice.
Very cool. My next one is Space Park. This one, this is from Keymaster Games. This is one that I really enjoy. It's got these three really cool space, like rocket miniatures. The artwork is phenomenal. It's just such a fun, like this whole park idea of like these parks that you visit and get badges for in outer space. It's really cool. I love the artwork. I love how the colors pop in this game and the little gems that come with it. It is beautiful. Right there, back of the box. So
Nice.
if you have not played Space Park before, it's a really fun game. So it's one that doesn't get enough love. Parks is obviously amazing, but Space Park came before Parks. Henry Audubon did it. So good. So
now we got a few in there. Jason throwing a couple in. Space Park Solo.
Yeah. I've
One
never
of the,
played it solo, but that is a game I would play solo. It's a lot of fun.
my favorite from 2023.
Okay.
And Apiary, which is Bees in Space. I really enjoyed how easy this was, how accessible it was. The replayability of this has been a lot of fun, and it plays really smooth at the 2 to 5 player count.
Mm-hmm.
And one that I definitely plan to have in my collection for a while.
Nice.
Looks like Jason gave us 5 in there, and he had Apiary as one of his there. There you go.
Jason, Tiny Epic Galaxies, Star Realms, Terraforming Mars, or Ares Edition, right here.
Yep. Ares Edition. Yep.
I love that one. Apiary, Dune Imperium. That's one I actually bought from my wife, and we still have not played it.
Forgot about that one. Man, it's so good.
Dune Imperium. Yeah, so good. So, and then a few not mentioned: Leaving Earth, 1969, Quantum. Gaming. I know that game. I just don't know how to pronounce it. Xenon Profiteer. I don't know that one. Sucking Vacuum? Are you just making crap up, Chad?
He's making games up.
Chad, if you're in distress, blink twice.
How dare you, Chad?
I know Liftoff. I don't know. What are you talking about? So,
all right, let's move on. Number 3.
Okay.
So, one that Chad just brought up.
Okay.
And also, I did mention both of these earlier.
Vacuum?
It is Sucking Vacuum. No, that game I've never heard of. But I love Leaving Earth.
Nice.
And I kind of I didn't bring it down as well, but I kind of put High Frontier in this kind of same category. So that's what I was mentioning before about more games need to be like logistics puzzles. So Leaving Earth is another game that I like absolutely love, but it's totally not for everyone. Because it's like you're doing a bunch of math problems to figure out how to get to space and back.
That's
and
what
bring
I
all your
love.
people back.
That's what I love on a Saturday math.
Yeah. So it's like, but I just love it so much. Like it's literally one of my favorite games.
That's cool.
And yet it's all of us are just around a table getting out our little sheets. Like there is an expansion for it, one of the expansions that gave you like a little notepad with things so that you could make your calculations easier because there's like lines for here's step 1 of the thing. So yeah, it's one of those ones. I'm like, this game is not for everyone. Same thing with High Frontier. Awesome. High Frontier has its own. Like they are very different games, but at the same time they kind of scratch the same itch for me of cool. Planning out missions of like how do I get out here and then back.
Nice.
And they both involve like the more fuel you take or the more rocket you take, the heavier your rocket is. So then you need more fuel to be able to take more fuel with you, which means you need to take more fuel. So yeah, there is really cool logistic puzzles in those 2 games. So I love those.
Nice. Sucking Vacuum. So
also you see the alternate name there is Ultimate Sucking Vacuum.
Ultimate Sucking Vacuum. Yeah. I feel like Chad just bought this just to say he has it.
Yeah, it's an Origins Award nominated game, it says, from 2004. Yeah, there's only 6 board games out of that time, I think, which is why.
That's funny. That's really funny.
So there you go.
That's good. So yeah.
Is that your number 4 also?
What now?
That's not your number 4.
No. Alien Frontiers wouldn't play with more than 3. First board game I ever backed on Kickstarter. Nice. So let's do Wormholes, another pick up and deliver. I put it on here just because I wanted to say, Isaac, look at my wormhole.
No.
So You always refuse. Wormholes it's a really fun pick up and deliver game. You're basically a space Uber, and you're trying to pick up people and deliver them to the places that they want to hang out in space. And you're making these wormholes to make travel easier. And so strategically placing wormholes around the galaxy makes travel easier, but also you can earn money because other players go through the wormholes and pay you money for the travel. It's a really pretty good pick up and deliver game. So
my number 4 is from another studio that I really like. The guys.
We're still on number 3.
My number 3, sorry,
there we
is
go.
from another studio, smaller studio. Guys that pay a lot of attention to detail. It's IV Studio. It's a game of shipbuilding and negotiation, and that is Moonrakers.
Yeah.
Moonrakers is a mean game. It is a negotiation, stab you in the back. If you enjoy that type of style of game, this is going to be a blast. And the shipbuilding part is a fun little aspect of it as well. It's a race. The game's beautiful. It reminds me a lot of I'm the Boss, if you're familiar with that one from Sid Saxon, where it's a lot of just, I'm going to make a deal with you now, but next turn, stabbing you right in the back. So it's a good time.
Space stabbings, my favorite type. So Bob with Pick 5, Space Station Phoenix, great game. Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition, Apiary, Dune Imperium, Alien Frontiers. Yes.
Great
all
picks.
Great ones. So, and then I got I think this is a question. How was Deep Space D6? Was that mentioned? Another solo game? No, I don't know that one.
With that one either.
No. Okay. So what's your number 4, Dennis?
My number 4 is The Crew.
Okay.
It is not like heavy on the space theme necessarily. I think everyone probably knows about The Crew already, but
yeah.
Yep.
But I think the game is just so good that I just wanted to include it in here.
Nice.
Such a brilliant idea to have trick taking be cooperative. It was something that after is just like, first of all, why has no one ever done this before? And why didn't I think of this first? Because I love that.
I like the mission log that it comes with, because I feel like it adds to the replayability a lot in that game. Sure. There's actually a game that came out after that, came out last year. It's called Inside Job, which is a deduction. It adds a social deduction mechanic to cooperative trick taking, and I think it's a better game.
Interesting.
I lay that out in my review for Inside Job. I believe it's a better game than The Crew, but you should check it out. So
I'll have to check it out.
Next is Clank in Space. This one has so many little inside jokes from Doctor Who to Star Wars, Star Trek. There's lots of humor in this game. And for my wife, who was a huge fan of Clank, this was an easy pickup because it merges my love of space and Spaceballs type things and my wife's love for Clank. This was an easy pickup for us. We really enjoyed it when we bought it. So
love it.
Yep.
We had a question about how these games compare to Galaxy Trucker, and then Chad threw in his Galaxy Trucker feels there. Top 10 game for him. So.
Oh, really? I've never played Galaxy Trucker, actually. It's top 10 game for me. I thought it was mentioned already, so I left it off. I'm terrible at it, though. Nice.
Jason mentioned this one. I play it a ton more on the app than I played anywhere else, but anything Star Realms related. Star Realms is a clean, simple, easy game that I will never forget the origins where everybody and their mom was playing Star Realms, and everybody had a deck, and everybody's playing on the floor, and every open space you could play. I've never seen anything like that where it just took over convention, and that was where it premiered, and it just blew up from there. And the app is seamless. It plays great. Yeah. It's such a fun little 2-player game. I can't say
I connected more with Hero Realms, but I definitely get it.
Yeah, so, it's fair. Yep. It's not because of Derek.
Okay, he left already. Okay.
Never mind. Star Realms.
That's funny.
Oh wow, Bob's put Galaxy
right.
Trucker into the galaxy.
Yeah, that's right. We tried to flip it right into space. Didn't get there.
Yeah,
didn't get
worth a shot.
Yep.
Now we're at number 5.
My number 5 is Space Corp It's another GMT game.
Okay.
So this is another one. There's not so much math in this one, but it's still
TK won't like it.
I think it's funny going through the system. Like I've actually brought most of these games to play with TK because he had never played any of them.
Nice.
So I was like, I think these are like a lot of the games are ones that I brought to play with him. But so this game is like one of the core components of it is like a deck building game, but it's a lot of exploring. There's not really combat, but there's like a lot of the other X's. So there's like exploration. There's you'll settle different planets. You'll exploit them for resources. You'll do that sort of thing, and it takes place over 3 eras. So you actually play like 3 different games back to back, sort of. It's the same game, and you can actually play it like you could play only the first era if you wanted to, or only the last 2 eras.
Okay.
But I like playing with do all 3 of them. So like at first you're just exploring, our solar system, and then you just keeps getting bigger and bigger scale from there.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a super cool game. I definitely recommend that to people to go check it out and see if it's something that they would enjoy.
Nice.
Very cool. Button Shy makes a solo wallet game called Space Shipped. I didn't know that.
I've tried that one. I have tried a lot of Button Shy stuff.
I did play the solo. What was it? The one with the roving robot. I think it was called Rove. Yeah, Rove. That was really fun. That was a cool puzzle.
Button
I
Shy
really like that one. So, and then my last one, actually, Dennis has a copy of it. Dennis, I love the Search for Planet X. That is a game that seamlessly uses an app to guide you as you try to go through these logic deduction puzzles. It is a lot of fun. It is very thinky. I love Search for Planet X, and I wish there was more games like that out there. So.
Have you tried the animal one, the new one?
No, I saw that there was a new one. I have not tried it though. It's same premise though, right?
I think so. I've not played it either, but Search for Planet X is probably my favorite deduction game, so I love that game too. Yeah.
Nice, very cool.
My last one, number 5, is a planet game as well. It is a different type of planet. It's a planet that not many of us know because it is a planet unknown, and I'm not going to pick this thing up. This box is genuine.
So good. It's a great game.
I can't even close it because I have all the mats in here, the neoprene mats. But I'm a huge sucker for a good polyomino, tetraomino game. It's my favorite type of game style. And the lazy Susan in this, the speed that this thing plays with multiple players, it's the asymmetry of the boards, right? Like you could play this 20 times and have a different experience every time. Love it. One of my favorites. Love taking it to game night because it plays up to, it's 1 to 6. And as a 6-player game, it moves fast because it's
really does.
Everybody's taking the same synchronous turns. So great
cool.
Game.
That's awesome. So I didn't know Dr. Finn Games has 1 to 4-player game called Mining Colony. I didn't know that one.
Okay.
So, lots of great games to check out. Dennis, we end every show by asking, what are you playing right now? So you're obviously playing, Take Care of the Comments on Kickstarter, which is a full-time job. But what else are you playing today?
So the board games we've been playing lately. So I play about every week with my group. We've been playing through Aeon's End Legacy.
Okay.
This is, I noticed actually just recently, I was like, oh, there's actually another Legacy one. So we're not playing the newest Aeon's End Legacy. We're playing the first Aeon's End Legacy.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm playing this is Undaunted Stalingrad, which is a 2-player game. Also a bit of a campaign game there. So I'm playing through that one with a friend of mine, and that's been just fantastic. Really enjoying that. It's my first time playing an Undaunted game. But speaking of space games, Undaunted Callisto is going to come out at some point. I'm definitely going to check that out after how much I liked this one.
Okay.
And that's a space version of the Undaunted system. So that'll be cool. Another one actually is a space game that we've been playing through recently. So I got in on the second Kickstarter of Unsettled. And so I have like all the planets. So I know they did a first Kickstarter. I wasn't part of that. I did the second Kickstarter, and there's like 9 planets or something. So we've been playing through those and trying out the new planets as we go, and that's been pretty good as well.
Nice.
Been enjoying that.
You played Unsettled, Ryan?
I have not. I know
It's
that I know a
tough.
little about it. Yeah.
It's die all the time, die. Like,
Really? Okay.
that's a hard game.
So far we haven't lost,
Cool.
but we're always like one turn away from losing.
Oh wow.
So in that sense, like that's been working out pretty well because
I played a couple
we're
times.
always about to lose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
co-ops are not my thing, but I enjoyed how very in depth, like in the story you are in that game.
Yeah.
Like it leans heavy into the
Nice.
story.
So I've been playing Gnar from Panda
Great
Source
game.
Games. I love this game. This is a really, really good. It is just the right amount of time to put into a little card game engine builder. I really like this. I got stomped by my brother, sister-in-law, and my wife last weekend. And I told them, I said, listen, I ain't going out like that. We're playing again. They all agreed because they absolutely loved it. And I went in hard and beat the crap out of them. Like nobody scored more than 22 points before I ended the game. I was like, I'm not going out like a punk this weekend. And then finally I'm playing Slava. I actually did a full how to play video on how to play Slava. This is a really cool trick-taking game with a military theme from Brothers in Games, which are out of the Netherlands. So if you like trick-taking games, Slava, check it out.
We have been playing in our house 2 games here recently. A new one from Stronghold called Digsaw, and we played. What is the other one that comes with scissors?
Clip Cut Park.
Clip Cut Park. This also comes with scissors, but you've got this hexagon board and there's ropes, and you're trying to cut out single archaeological spots based on die rolls.
Okay.
So it is very much a plan ahead, which I do horrifically.
There we go.
Because I'm cutting and I'm like, oh, there goes half of my board. Great. But a lot of fun. But the one I really enjoyed that we picked up at Tantrum Con, we've been playing a lot here recently, is the Blueprints of Magazine Ludwig. Blueprint. My wife loves Magazine Ludwig. The base game, this one's fun. It's all flipping cards, picking a card, drawing it in. It's volume sheets, so you can kind of slide the card underneath to get the right drawing. It's got different colored pencils for the different words they score. And the game has a lot of like, I'm going to do this, and this to make it work. Just a lot of fun. So if you like Magazine Ludwig, it's a great addition.
Very cool. Awesome. Dennis, thank you so much for coming on the show. Where can people find you all at Kinson Key Games?
Yeah, you can go to kinsonkeygames.com where we've got a Discord. Like all the links will be on there. You can go to our, I know you already put a link up to our Kickstarter page. We've got all of our links on there to our Facebook group and our, we have like Instagram and all sorts of other things. But yeah, definitely check out the Kickstarter. There's our webpage. Join the Discord if you're looking to get into some games. We actually just posted some recently. If you want to try out some of the expansion content with one of the designers, we'll be running some games where you could check it out and play it on Tabletop Simulator with us.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely go check those out.
That's awesome. You can follow us on at One Board Family all over the place. Go to oneboardfamily.com. We've got lots of content over there. Rick recently reviewed a roll and write where you're trying to defeat kaiju who are running amok. It's a print and play game. Looks like a lot of fun. Has a really cool art style to it. A cheap print and play game that you can print off and have a lot of fun with your family. So check that one out. All right.
You can find us at Gaming with Sidekicks on the TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, AOL, IM, all of those places where you get your socials. Also, we just put out our latest review yesterday, which was for Dice Manor from Arcane Wonders.
That's right, yeah.
We got a couple coming down the pike this week, so keep an eye out for those as well.
Nice. Excellent.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for joining us. TK is going to go back and rewatch the first half of the video. This way, this way he can see what Dennis told us about the game. So anyway, Dennis, we really appreciate you coming on the show and making time for us. And if you haven't already, be sure to back Galactic Cruise. You will not be sorry. Back that game. It's amazing. You'll get it next year. And I feel bad because it wasn't on our most anticipated list this year, because I knew it was a 2025 release, and I felt so bad not putting it on there. So,
but you're ready for next year.
Oh, it's top of the list. I already started the blog. So
nice.
Anyway, so
well, thanks for having me.
absolutely. You guys have a great night.
All right.
See
Take
ya.
care, everybody.
Good night.